Good morning, Year 6. It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. How wonderful.
Good morning, Year 6.
Mrs. Moore and I found this image and it reminded us of some people from Year 6. So wondering if maybe that's you. Maybe you, one of the people who, it doesn't matter where we see you. You're always going to find someone to talk to.
Can you relate to this image?
I think it's Mrs. Moore, I think that's you.
100%, that is me.
Anywhere we move you.
All the time.
Anywhere we move you, we're going to find someone to talk to.
Anyone in that staff meeting, I'm happy to speak to them.
Yeah. All right. Well, first thing for today, guys, just like we've been doing, 2 literacy contract tasks, please. Make sure, like we said, try and do the STAR task first. Hand in your contract when you've done the 2 activities, and make sure that you are doing the little reflections as well to tell us what the learning you got out of that contract activity was. And when you're done, just like we said, just hand it in when you're done.
Yeah. Moving on to our shared reading, we're going to be doing just that same text we have been doing. There are 3 words that are highlighted in blue in the text, greeny blue, whatever you want to call it. And so we just thought, turquoise maybe. And so we just want you to find some dictionary meanings of them and then find some synonyms for those words. So I have some... Oh, and I've got a table on the next page. You can put your information in there. And there are just some links to dictionary.com and thesaurus.com. So you are able to access that. Now, if you have a dictionary at home and you'd prefer to use that, by all means, go ahead. I just thought I would make it a little bit easier for you with a link.
Easy, accessible link. We're all about easy access, Mrs. Moore.
Exactly right.
So that'll take us on to writing. So for today, like we've been doing, you're going to continue doing some research on that athlete that participated in the Olympic Games. So we want to find out what were their achievements before this Olympic Games. So anything prior to the 2021 or 2020 Tokyo Olympics, we want to find out what did they achieve in their sport. So maybe it might be something in the Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games, or World Championships. Could even be in, like, if they're, for example, I'm thinking my favourite person at the moment is Matisse Thybulle for the Boomers. Maybe finding out if he plays for a different club or something, if it's a person who does a team effort, is in a team sport. And they're just some of the things you might find. So like we said, you might find more. You can use those if you want to, or use something else. And just write your information, maybe try and find some images as well, like we said, with some captions underneath. And put your work on the next slide here. And if you need more space, add another slide by adding a little plus up there.
Because, Mr. Martin, there are certain things that we've written down there, but I know that I was watching the athletics the other night and they were talking about the Asian Games or the Asian Championship, which are like, because we're a part of the Oceania, yeah. Like we competed in that, and then I know there's like World Cups for some of the team sports, so maybe might be a World Cup as well. So any of those type of what would you call them, like meets?
Meets, yeah, or like places or things they've competed in.
Yeah, anything like that you can include.
Yeah, that'll take us up to maths.
So for maths today, this is actually very tricky. And I know we found this really tricky when we were doing this for area. So we're looking at the volume. So Mr. Martin has a hot tip on the side there. If you have a look at his hot tip, it says, remember to find the volume. We multiply, so we times the length, the width, and the height. So we're timesing 3 numbers to get the volume, which is the reason why when we do an answer for volume, we have a cube. It's the number 3. So like when we do our area and it's squared because we times 2 numbers together, when we're doing volume, we times it by 3 numbers, and that's the reason why it's cubed. So today you're told that you have a rectangular prism that is 96 centimeters cubed. So what would the 3 dimensions be for you to times something and the answer be 96? So you have to times 2 numbers and then times it by another number to get to the number 96. I'm going to give you a hot tip. If my third number I'm going to times by is 2, what could these two numbers be? Because the answer to these two numbers would have to be half of 96. So what could that be? So that could be a bit of another hot tip for you for that. Now, if that is really challenging for you, move to that enabling first. And then once you do that enabling, see if, even if you just do 1 or 2 questions, and then see if you could then go back to that 96 question. So try that enabling where you have 24 centimeters cubed, and what would the different dimensions be? Now for our extending people, there is a video on the side over there. Watch that first. Before you even attempt this question, make sure you watch that video, and that video will help you to do the triangular prism. Now, I know that both of our classes, when we're doing area, we were working at the area of a triangle. I wonder if you remember what the formula for that was. We're going to get another formula again, and that's going to tell us the formula for the volume of a triangular prism. So again, 3 numbers, timesing them to get to 96 centimeters cubed.
That's it. And then you guys can just put any of your working out on that next slide. Just make sure if you do any working out, you write that down as well, because we'd like to see the thinking that goes behind it rather than just seeing the answer year 6.
And if you get some wrong because you're doing some trial and error, I would love to see that, because that tells me that you were working for that full 30 minutes, working really hard in that thinking process.
Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. Sometimes it's not always about getting the right answer. We're interested in the thinking behind it, and you make connections when you start doing that.
Exactly right. Yeah. All right. So moving on to religion. In those big black bold writing just there, it says this task will run over this week and next week. So you have 2 weeks to complete this task. So again, if you click on that link, so I should just say that we're going to be working on looking at St. Mary MacKillop and the significant people that were in Mary MacKillop's life. So we're going to do a bit of research on that.
So if you guys go onto that link there where it says Google Classroom, it'll take you to our religion tab. Mrs. Moore and I have created a doc for every single person, and it's the people who are a part of Mary MacKillop's life. So we're going to be doing a little bit of research, and we're going to be finding out about these people. So we've got a few questions we need to do some research for. So what did she do that was significant? Where did they live? What was their relationship to Mary MacKillop? And an image. So Mrs. Moore and I have already gone through and we found some websites to help you guys out. They're all hyperlinked there. So if you were to click on Father Julian Tennyson Woods, this is the link that's going to come up for you guys. And it's got a bit of information here about what he did and how he helped in St. Mary MacKillop's life.
So the first question it said was, what did he or she do that was significant? So what was something that he have done that was significant? So if we scroll down here, we need to think about, okay, what's significant? And especially around Mary MacKillop, because that is what's important. So I can see in this one that Mary MacKillop is already highlighted. So I would read that bottom paragraph there. I actually wouldn't read the other stuff because I don't think that's important right now. So I can see that Father Woods, First Parish, Penola in South Australia. And then I would go.
I'm having a look there, Mrs. Moore, I'm reading through it. So that first question, what did he do that was significant? So I'm thinking the first part that's probably significant is the fact that he was the Father Woods, that's telling me that he's a priest. So he's a priest.
He's a priest. Penola, and I know that Penola is the place that Mary MacKillop first established her school.
Yeah.
So I would write in there that he was a priest.
He was a he was the first priest, wasn't it? If I
He
was
was
reading
the
through
first-
that. First parish.
First, it was his first parish.
So I could write in that doc, he was the parish priest at Penola in South Australia. And then that's going to answer my second question as well. Where did he live? He lived in South Australia, in Penola, South Australia. But I think at the start of it as well, Mr. Moore, when I was going through and doing my little bit of research, he was born in Southwark in England. So he lived in a few different places.
Yeah. I would say, Mr. Martin, can you just do that continue reading on that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I think we need to go back up. Because see, what else did he do? What did he do? What was significant for St. Mary MacKillop? I think he helped her. So it says Catholic teachers were unable to do so. So they were unable to, they weren't letting them teach the poor children. So it says Catholic teachers were unable to do so. So he decided to found a new religious order in teaching sisters to bring Catholic education to the children of poor families. So that's something significant that he did. Sorry, Mr. Martin, go.
That's all right. And that's what I was saying, his relation to Mary MacKillop was because I know that the Sisters of St. Joseph was where Mary MacKillop started. So that was his connection there. So he helped, was it poor families? Children of poor families.
He helped bring Catholic education to poor
families. And that was his relationship with Mary MacKillop.
He was the priest when Mary MacKillop was trying to teach the children.
Began to teach children. Yeah. And that's what we want you guys to do. So for the rest of those people down there, we want you guys to go through, and you guys need to then add an image as well, which you can do a little bit later. But use those websites, go through and add as much information as you can into these boxes about the people that were around Mary MacKillop and how they were significant in her life.
Mr. Martin, can you scroll all the way down to the very last person? I forget who the last person, Joanna Barr Smith. Can you click on that one? When Mr. Martin and I were trying to find these websites, I wanted to show you a bit of a trick that we did because we have all this information and Mr. Martin and I didn't want to read it all. So we wanted to know that what connection do they have with St. Mary MacKillop? So we did Control F or
if it's on a Mac, it's Command F.
So depending on what you're doing, and we wrote in here MacKillop. And then that way, Mr. Martin, so there's only one place they talk about St. Mary MacKillop. So this is the paragraph that we need to read about. You don't need to read the whole lot of this information, just the part that's about St. Mary MacKillop. And that's just a bit of a trick. You don't want to have to do too much work. Read the whole screen. No, we don't want to do that. Just find the bits that we need.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Year 6. So hope that this video helps you guys out today. And that you guys have any questions, like we said before, just email Mrs. Moore and I or ask them on our 9:30 Zoom meeting.
Thank you, Year 6. Have a good day.